Okay, how you doing everyone? Welcome to this lecture for the module The Paralympic Athlete. Today we're just going to give a module overview, a bit of an introduction to the topic and how you are going to be assessed for this module. First up, we are going to have a look at a little video that brings some highlights from the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, the most recent Paralympic Games to take place.
Bem-vindos ao Rio, a cidade maravilhosa.
Vamos lá, chegou a hora. Nossa história é aqui e agora. Vamos transformar cada segundo no melhor de nós pra todo mundo. Vamos lá, nossa mensagem. Soltar nossa voz, força e coragem. Vamos transformar cada segundo no melhor de nós pra todo mundo. Cada sonho uma esperança, entre a dor e a alegria, sempre nova a cada dia. Cada sonho tem seu preço, cada fim tem recomeço, cada um tem seu valor. Vai que dá, vai na boa, vai que dá. Vai com força e com vontade, inspirando emoções. Vai na boa, vai que dá, vai na boa, vai que dá. Pelo sonho da igualdade em todos os corações.
Jefinho. Brilliantly! Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Jefinho! And in off the inside of the post, he could not have finished it better.
Let's go right now, right here. Our body and soul making history, transforming hearts in every journey. Forever starts this very moment. And sing out loud, don't be afraid to try. Stand tall and proud, you were born to fly. Transforming hearts in every journey. Forever starts this very moment. Yeah, cause the hope will keep us dreaming. Every dream a new beginning. Another lesson love is teaching. Oh, there's a price for our decision. There's no difference, no division. Just believe it, yes you can. We could do it, here we go. We could do it, here we go. We're each other's inspiration. Together rising above. We could do it, here we go. We could do it, here we go. We're the real transformation. We've got the power of love. We got the power of love, yeah. No, yeah.
Vai na boa, vai que dá. Vai na boa, vai que dá.
We're each other's inspiration. Together rising above. We can do it, here we go. We can do it, here we go.
Pelo sonho da igualdade em todos os corações.
I want to thank Rio de Janeiro. Cariocas fantásticos. You warmly embraced these games and took the athletes to your hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's a nice video just putting together some of the highlights of the Rio 2016 Games. I've been fortunate enough to work at two Paralympic Games. I was the lead exercise physiologist for Paralympic Ireland's for the Beijing and for the London 2012 Games. I decided not to go to Rio. I was offered the job, but I felt like things had changed. I was married, I had kids, and it is a huge commitment to take on a 4-year cycle like that, and it involves a lot of travel and a lot of time away from home. So looking at that, I feel I won't say regret, but it would have been awesome to have been there. It looks like it was a fantastic Games. There's a real carnival atmosphere at it, like there is at the Olympic Games. It's a real celebration of sport and a celebration of spirit in motion, which is the Paralympic motto. Ireland, some of you guys may already know Paralympic athletes. You may even be already coaching them or have worked with them. When it comes to the Paralympic Games, Ireland certainly punches above its weight. For a country our size, we've had huge success across multiple Paralympic Games. We've had a number of athletes who have done really, really well in various sports across multiple games. We're very, very lucky. Irish Paralympic athletes are well known, but they're certainly not household names yet. But thanks to the tireless work of Paralympics Ireland, they are getting better and better opportunities to be recognised for their outstanding achievements in sport. And that's illustrated fairly clearly there by the prominent partners and sponsors that are now involved in with Paralympics Ireland. So the partners you see listed there: Allianz, Circle K, Toyota, Citigroup, and sponsors that's like a level down as opposed to being an official partner: Aer Lingus, and other companies there like Salesforce is a massive company. And having brand managers and bringing those partners in has really opened the doors for Paralympics Ireland and for the athletes themselves. So just another little video I want to show you here. This is of Ellen Keane, who's an Irish swimmer, and she has partnered up with Allianz, the insurance company, to help promote their involvement and help promote her activity. So we'll just watch that.
My parents didn't want to treat me any differently because I was born different. So I learned to swim when I was about 2. My dad was aware of Paralympics and found a contact number for the manager of the Paralympic swim team at the time. So she invited me to a competition in Northern Ireland for people with disabilities. I loved being in control, I loved the speed, I loved the racing, and it turns out I had a natural talent for it. So my only main anxiety came from my arm. When you're a kid, you don't really think about it, and you're not insecure about your body, you're not really aware, you're just a kid who wants to have fun. When I was 12, that's kind of when I started to notice that people were staring. I started to hide my arm then. Swimming was the place that I gained confidence. All I had to worry about was going fast and my technique and getting from one point to the next point as fast as possible. If I can stand up on a block in front of 18,000 people, if I can do that, then why can't I do it in my social circle? Swimming made me realize I do have courage. I think that's the most important thing. Like, no matter how afraid you are of something, it's always your choice. You're choosing to be afraid, or you're choosing to face your fears. And when you choose to face your fears, that courage that you get gives you confidence to realize that nothing is as bad as it seems.
So there we have a video there of one of the videos that Allianz produced in conjunction with Paralympics Ireland, bringing Paralympics into a more mainstream audience. Ellen, she's an excellent swimmer. I've known Ellen since she was very, very young, and she has, she's been a guest on the Late Late Show. She's done other ads with Allianz that go out on social media. They've been on mainstream telly, on RTE television. So those opportunities are now presenting themselves to lots of Irish Paralympic athletes, which is really a fantastic opportunity for them. So, what's the module aim? What's the purpose of this module? Well, it's fairly broad but fairly straightforward. We want you guys to help develop an understanding of the Paralympic movement, the Paralympic athlete, and the Paralympic specific sports. In order to do that, we're going to cover a number of topics. We're going to start out with some introductory headings where we'll look at the history, evolution and structure of the Paralympic movement and Paralympics Ireland. We will give an introduction to the impairments that the athletes have, sports and general coaching considerations, and how athletes are classified in Paralympic sports. We'll then move on and do a deeper dive into the impairments, the specific disabilities the athletes have, and how these disabilities impact on their training and their performance, and what coaching considerations you should give them. Then we'll finish off by talking about additional coaching considerations. So psychology, nutrition, competition preparation and travel considerations, and ethics in Paralympic sport as well. So that's a broad overview of what we will cover. Plenty of additional resources beyond what you're going to find on Moodle. The Paralympics Ireland website is very good, and the International Paralympic Committee can be found at paralympic.org, and they have got an awful lot of material in both of those places that will be relevant to you. 2 books that I'll make available to you, one The Paralympic Athlete and one Training and Coaching the Paralympic Athlete, as you are working your way through this module, and particularly when you are doing your case study, you will find these resources very, very useful. Professionally, the IPC, the International Paralympic Committee, have the IPC Academy, where they run a number of online courses that you can take. One is an introduction to para sports. The second is IPC Para Coaching, an introductory program. So if this is something that interests you, either now or down the line, they are additional qualifications that you can pursue and add to your CV. There's a small charge involved for some of them, but they are excellent online resources for you to follow up on. In this module, you are assessed via continuous assessment. There's no structured or formal exam at the end of this module. CA1, there's 2 pieces of CA. The first, CA1, is broken down into 6 parts. It's 6 multiple choice quizzes. They are available at the end of the various blocks that we are going to study. So at the end of the introductory block, there is an MCQ covering the content that we introduced in that introductory block. Then when we look at the specific impairments, visual, cerebral palsy, amputation and spinal cord injury, there will be an individual MCQ available at the end of each of those blocks relative to that content. And then finally, we'll do MCQ 6 based on the additional coaching considerations at the end. So they'll be available for you to take or consume or do in your own time. When you're finished going through the introductory content, you can do MCQ1 whenever you feel ready, and likewise for all the rest of them. You can chip away at it as the semester progresses. If you want, you can leave it all to the last minute and try and squeeze it all in, but that's up to you. That's the way this module is structured. CA2 is an individual athlete case study. So that's going to be an athlete specific case study, which will be about 2,500 words. You are free to pick any Paralympic athlete that you want. They can be Irish or an international athlete in any sport that you want, that you wish. In your case study, you're going to include a profile of the athlete. You're going to include details of the disability that they have and how that impacts them, how you might test and monitor that athlete, any appropriate training adaptations that you might have to make for that athlete, and any specific coaching considerations that you would make for that athlete. That is due via Moodle by the end of week, sorry, that date is wrong there. It should say by the end of week 12, the end of this module, which is the 30th of April 2021. When you're completing that case study, the IPC website that we referenced earlier has a section with athlete profiles. So you can search up any of the athletes that are there. Here's the page for Jason Smith. So the Jason's page is very, very comprehensive. It gives you an overview of the athlete, and then it goes on to give a lot of extra information there. So there's plenty of useful information that's going to be there for you based on your athlete. And if you search on your athlete, you should be able to find plenty of other material on that athlete as well. Perhaps the more eager athletes or more eager students, you could even reach out to some of the athletes via social media and ask any questions. I know, well, many of the athletes that I know would be definitely receptive to that, and the worst that could happen is they might say no or ignore your request. Not the end of the world, but you could definitely reach out to them on that. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to the module and how you're going to be assessed, the most important thing. Make sure you keep in touch. So there is no formal contact time with me during this module, but I am always available to you, so you can catch me. I'm online most days on Microsoft Teams. Fire me a message on the team specific to this module, or if you can catch me on a private message there on Teams as well. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for your attention. I'll catch you in the next lecture.